Here in my car, where I used to feel safe until Grady Judd's boys came and took a dump in my cornflakes. Here in my car, I never feel safe no more because we don't have freedom to move about the country of this free country. Chickadee check yourself before you wreck yourself. Chickadee check yourself before you wreck yourself. Chickadee check yourself before you wreck yourself because Grady Judd boys are bad for your health. Anybody know this guy, uh, Grady Judd? This guy, right? Let's see. Here. Oh, no. Here. Does that look okay? You guys see everything okay? All right, let me say hi to everybody. Yeah. What's up, people? I just saw your video the other day. It was really good. The guy just couldn't admit that he unlawfully detained you. Mr. Lou, how are you? John Denicola. Alec Baldwin's not prop gun. Welcome. I don't know what LFG. Oh, let's effing go. Toby, what up, guy? John Denicola, what up? Disability advocate, what up? OS, really? Really what? Yeah, really, probably. GEO, XXGOX. I don't know if that means he does geo porn. Here in my car, here in my car, here in my car. Here, here in my phone, I have Geo singing a Beastie Boys song. I wonder if I could find that real quick. That'd be so cool. Do 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 do. Where's Geo? Where's Geo? Try to guess what song I had him sing. Oh, you probably already know. I told you the band. Here in my car. I don't think I'm gonna find it because I suck at life. And I am halfway in my car. If you know this song, then you might be old. Oh, uh-oh. All right, right. Intergalactic planetary planetary. Thanks, Gio. Brother Haram, Adawan. Salekam salam, salami, eggs, and bacon, my brother. How are you? Hillsboro Cop Watch, what's up, pimp? Buzz, Yin Yang News Now, what up? Fitzcam, hi. Thanks for being members, Fitzcam, Lou, all y'all. Audit Amplifier, what's up? Fitz, John, Press harder. A real character. The characters of 10. Yep. Catchy title. It's true. You'll see. Here in my car, I run from Grady Judd. So, of course, on his Facebook page, Polk County Sheriff, he's got a bunch of bootlickers on the comments on this video, and I hit him with some hard truths. So, here's the story. There's a guy who the audit might call a sovereign citizen, and he's a 27-year-old Army Ranger with no criminal record. He lives in Polk County, Florida, which is like dead center Florida. It's a very big county. I think 750,000 people live there. I could be wrong. This guy, as a teenager, was impersonating a cop. This Grady Judd right here was impersonating a cop. He tells a story on video. He could have been arrested, but instead he became a cop, and now he's been the sheriff of Polk County for 20 years. Talk about you need term limits. This is your ultimate boomer law enforcement officer. He fights Richard Nixon's drug war tooth and nail. He enforces victimless crimes. He doesn't follow the Constitution at all when he does his policing, and he focuses on things that he does catch a lot of pedophiles. I'll give him that. But the constitutional right violations this guy commits and his hundreds of police officers commit, and there's a lot of his deputies on YouTube, trust me. So 27-year-old uh Army Ranger, no police record. He wants to be a free person, but wanting to be free in America is considered a radical idea now, especially by law enforcement. So if you believe you're a free person and that you already paid for the roads, you bought your car, you worked, you paid all your taxes, you paid all the cops' salaries, all the politicians' salaries, you've paid for the roads, you've paid for the lights, you've paid for the electricity, you've paid for the labor. Now, you as a free American, if you want to take your vehicle and drive on the roads that you paid for, you're not free to do that. That's a radical idea in America that you can take your car that you worked hard for and drive on the roads that you paid for. That's a radical idea in America. So I'm going to be pausing this all the time. It's only a 15-minute video, but I'm sure I could stretch it to an hour. I'll do my best. If you don't want to hear me talking, you're in the wrong channel, dude. So hopefully you can hear everything. Let me know if you can hear this video. Say yes, I can hear it.
Did yesterday along with the Florida Highway Patrol. And here's where it started. A 27-year-old man.
Can you guys hear that? Yes? Okay. Here we go. Grady Judd, police impersonator turned county sheriff. Should have been put out to pasture a long time ago. Camera whore, radio whore. Does a morning video like every day. He's more of a social media person now than a sheriff. So here we go.
Would go over an arrest that we did yesterday along with the Florida Highway Patrol. And here's where it started. A 27-year-old man was stopped in the Kathleen area on State Road 35A, which is the Kathleen Road. He pulled into a neighborhood. He was driving a blue Chevy pickup truck without a tag.
Oh my God! An Army veteran Ranger with no criminal record thought he was a free American and could drive his car on the roads that he paid for? He didn't have a tag. Grady, I'm listening. I'm all ears now. He didn't have a tag. Red flag. Red flag. We don't need that type of radical freedom in this country where you could just take your car and drive around freely like a free person.
And when the trooper approached him, he wouldn't get out of the vehicle.
The trooper impeded his freedom by turning on his emergency lights because there was some emergency happening. An American was traveling freely on the roads he paid for in the car he paid for. So that means there's an emergency and we have to impede his freedom.
Well, he wouldn't talk to him. He said he didn't have a right to stop him. He said, I have the triangle on the back of my vehicle because it's a farm vehicle. I don't have to register it.
Okay, so the Army Ranger with no police record says it's a farm vehicle. You put one of them triangles like you'd have on a tractor. So here's my sticking point here. Even though it's all crap to begin with, the license plates and all that stuff, let's say this guy has a farm. Let's say his farm is 10 acres. Let's say he uses that vehicle on his farm as a farm vehicle. Why isn't it a farm vehicle? Because it's on the road. You can drive your tractor on the road. I had a guy who had his license suspended at one of my restaurants, and he drove a tractor to the restaurant and parked in a parking space. So there's a catch right there. Maybe it is a farm vehicle. What makes it not a farm vehicle? Because you don't want it to be? Or because you've been oppressing people for so long with this silly unconstitutional traffic code crap that you're so brainwashed and such a boomer that can't change his ways and understand what liberty, freedom, and the oath you took to the Constitution actually is.
The trooper noticed the butt of a firearm.
Oh,
so he retreated.
The trooper noticed that a free American who thought he was free to travel also thought he had a right to keep and bear arms. So that scared the trooper who swore to protect the right to keep and bear arms.
Back to his car because this Samuel Doolin was not cooperating and asked for assistance. Other troopers responded as well as sheriff's deputies. When we got there, we immediately talked to the troopers and we began to hail him and direct him to get out of the vehicle.
So we began screaming at a guy who did nothing to nobody with no criminal record, who served his country in the military. We started screaming at him to get out of the vehicle because he didn't have a license plate and he was exercising his right to keep and bear arms. Think about this. So 4, 6 armed men willing to use lethal force because he wants to be a free person and be able to drive his vehicle on the roads he pays for.
And to show us his hands. Well, he showed us his hands, but he wouldn't get out of the vehicle. He said it was an illegal traffic stop.
Why should he get out of the vehicle? Oh, that's right, because you're initiating aggression on him and you're scared that he'll defend himself. Never mind.
So our deputies continued to request him to get out of the vehicle. He continued to resist.
That's interesting language, Grady. Request.
He had his girlfriend with him. She got to be a part of this and even got some charges as a result.
You can't let the passengers. Yeah, passengers can't just. What did she do? Use her free speech or something? What'd she do?
Tiffany Beam. So now you've got Samuel Doolin and Tiffany Beam in the vehicle,
who've committed the crime of traveling in their car on the roads they paid for.
We break the back window.
Oh, so now, again, this veteran with no criminal record thought he had the right to take his private property and travel on the roads he paid for. And then he had the nerve to not enjoy being his freedom being impeded and his safety being threatened. So we had to escalate and use more violence against him by breaking and shattering his private property with violence. Remember, he didn't have a tag, everybody, just so you know.
Out of the pickup truck.
He didn't have a tag. Just remember that. It's all his fault.
He still refuses to get out of the vehicle. We immediately tased him and once.
Oh my God, he didn't want to go into your custody, the good guy's custody? So you electrocuted him? That makes sense.
The taser struck him. He became more compliant. We pulled him out.
As soon as we tortured him with electricity, he became more compliant.
Of the vehicle and arrested him. Here's what we learned. He wouldn't identify himself. He wouldn't get out of the vehicle. We saw a handgun. And when we asked him about all this, he said, well, you know, I'm kind of a sovereign and I don't recognize state law enforcement. They have no authority over me. This was an illegal stop. Only the elected sheriff has authority, law enforcement authority.
So what this guy's saying is that unelected bureaucratic law enforcement like city police, state police, who elected these people? This is the elected sheriff, and he can't even get it right, much less the unconstitutional bureaucracy law enforcement outside of him.
Well, he learned before the day was over that he was right. The sheriff's office does have authority, and we appropriately charged him. But he also learned the state troopers have authority as well because they charged him.
Because they have guns too, just like us. They have the monopoly on violence, and they can force you to do stuff under threat of violence. They don't have authority on paper. They don't have a constitutional authority. Nobody elected them. Let's be honest. You're the elected imbecile here, and you let the Florida Highway Patrol and your gang members violate the oath to the Constitution that they took.
Him as well. We took him into custody. Tiffany immediately lost interest in wanting to resist any further. So she was simply arrested and taken into.
Resist what? What did she do? Is she a conspiracy to travel freely amongst the roads they pay for? What are you talking about, resist? Oh, because she didn't want to do what you told her, even though she didn't do anything illegal? How'd you gain jurisdiction on her?
Custody for resisting. Samuel Doolin is the older brother.
So the same thing they arrested me for, resisting. That's another catch-all thing, like disorderly conduct, obstruction, and resisting. That's all three of those are like contempt of cop laws.
Brother to one of the Doolins that was arrested as a response to the January 6th event by the FBI. It's
so I guess a relative of this guy, remember, veteran, no criminal record. His crime was driving on the roads that his tax money pays for without the king's stamp on the back. How dare, I mean, this guy has a lot of nerve. He thinks because he risked his life in the military that he just can come back here and just have freedom to move around like in a free country? Man, what unbelievable. And the why they bringing up the fact that one of his relatives was arrested for J6. J6 was a completely orchestrated by unelected bureaucratic law enforcement, as the videos have proven over and over again. So another fail by you, Grady.
the same family. Quite frankly, when we got there, he showed the hands, but
David Nichols, that's what I got arrested for in August.
he was not getting out of the truck. We had no right to take him out of the truck because the State Highway Patrol had no right to stop him, no right to arrest him or detain him.
Where did they get the right to impede his freedom? Where's the plaintiff of his crime? What crime? Who's the plaintiff of his crime? Who did he injure? Where was he? Was he trespassing? There's no plaintiff. You literally ruined this man's life over a traffic code.
Well, he learned differently. So at the end of the day, he's in jail, charged with a lot of different charges. He posted bond and was just about to get out of jail. However, my detectives went and added another charge that you may not be aware of.
Oh, that was nice of him.
Of carrying a concealed firearm, because the way he was carrying these firearms.
Oh, so they charged him with keeping and bearing arms. So the Constitution says he has the right to keep and bear arms. And Grady let his gang thug members charge him for keeping and bearing arms. Another false, unconstitutional law. He has the right to keep and bear arms. Now you're going to say he gets a charge because he wasn't doing it the way we like him to do it?
Was illegal. During our investigation, we learned not only was he carrying firearms, but he had altered the handgun.
Uh-oh. He did something to his guns that you didn't want him to do? So he wasn't keeping and bearing them properly? Now what are you going to tell us?
The Glock. And he'd also altered the AK or the AR-15 so that they were fully automatic. That's another violation of law.
What? It is? So only government's allowed to have automatic weapons? When he says Glock, you could suck my Glock, by the way, Grady, you pig. There's a plastic piece you can literally put on the back of a Glock. It's called a Glock switch. And it makes it shoot automatic. And shooting automatic actually reduces your accuracy. It doesn't help you in any way. Citizens are safer with dummies that use automatic guns, because with a semi-auto, you have to aim in every trigger pull. Whereas if you just hold it down, you can't hold it steady.
So he's
We're only 4 minutes in. Jesus, this guy's so aggravating.
Picked up several felony charges.
Several felony charges because he traveled on the roads he paid for, and he kept and bared arms in a manner that you didn't like. Isn't that nice? You're such a good guy, Grady. I hope you run for president.
It's interesting. He went from no arrest to several very significant arrests with altering guns to be fully automatic. Now, he says, this is what he told us, that he was an Army Ranger and he was just released from the military because he wouldn't take a COVID shot. I don't know if that's valid or not.
Oh, so he's a patriot. Okay, so everything you're telling me about this guy is he's a patriot, he's a patriot, he's a patriot, and you guys ruined his life. That's what I'm hearing so far.
But I know that's what he told our detectives and deputies. So this is one more example of the Florida Highway Patrol and the Sheriff's Office working together to ensure the safety and security of the community. He had the ability to be very violent, and we just thank God that he didn't pull that gun and start shooting.
He had the ability to be very violent. Doesn't everybody in the world that can pick up a knife or throw a punch have the ability to be violent? That's cop-splaining right there. That's garbage. That means nothing. Everyone has the ability to be violent for the most part. It's such a stupid statement right there.
A fully automatic firearm at the troopers before we got there, or at us either. But he's in jail.
He showed, so his crime again is traveling freely on the roads that he paid for without the king's tax stamp on the back of the car. That's his crime, and they're trying to put him in jail for years for it.
The community safe. He's facing a lot of serious.
When was the community unsafe? He didn't do anything. Again, he's criminalizing a guy who literally did nothing but believe that he could drive his car on the roads that he pays for, who served his country.
Charges because of the relationship with his younger brother and him being under federal charges. We've also notified the FBI. So in the event they want to tack on any federal charges as well, that's their decision. We won't make that decision. We can't make that decision. However, he says he has sovereign tendencies, and today.
Oh, sovereign tendencies. Only we're allowed to be sovereign with our qualified immunity, the ability to investigate our own crimes, never get traffic tickets, drive with expired registration, do everything that they bug you for. But they're not the sovereigns. This guy has sovereign tendencies. Listen to the upside down world, the backwards explanation by this imbecile right here. He has sovereign tendencies because he wants to drive his car on the roads he paid for and keep and bear arms, the rights you swore to protect. He's the problem, not you, the armed thugs who travel around the road and bother veterans and ruin their lives over a license plate. You're disgusting, dude.
He has jailhouse tendencies. You know what I'm saying?
Jailhouse tendencies? You know what I'm saying? No, you inbred. What does that mean?
So that's our Christmas present to him.
Oh, our Christmas present to him, the veteran who thought he was a free American and can move around freely. Our Christmas present to him is enforce a bunch of unconstitutional laws on him, throw him in a cage for as many years as we can, and add more charges as we go along. January 6th.
Early present. When you don't obey the law, we're going to lock you up. Merry Christmas.
When you don't obey traffic code, it's not even law, it's traffic code. They're literally code enforcing when they're doing that. We're going to lock you up. You didn't let us just impede your freedom, lick our boots, and let us steal a little bit of your money like everybody else. You thought you were special because you was a veteran. That's not how it works in Polk County, Florida. By the way, we got that fire here in Polk County. We got that fire.
Sheriff, can you speak to how dangerous it is to convert guns to fully automatic?
Well, first and foremost, it's against the law.
Oh, first and foremost, nothing else matters. Not if it's right or wrong, not if you have the right to keep and bear arms. First and foremost, some politician said that you don't have the right to keep and bear arms now. And that's what we enforce. We don't enforce the Constitution we swore an oath to. First and foremost.
Makes it a felony.
Oh, so that makes it a felony. Your officers commit felony on camera all the time. But you pick and choose which felonies you want to enforce. And you pick and choose the people you want to enforce it on. People you call sovereigns when you should be looking in the mirror.
And in addition to that, a fully automatic firearm can.
He's digging deep. Copsplanation coming up.
Malfunction. And the reason they can
Did he just say automatic weapons malfunction? Any weapon can malfunction, dude. Does this guy even know anything about guns?
Malfunction is because if you look at the way these were altered, and you'll see that there's several ways to alter firearms, and obviously I'm not going to discuss all of them with you, but one is to buy a piece of equipment and put in it. The other is to alter the existing equipment, and that appears to be what he did on this case. So even if you're not violating any other law, when you alter it, you're violating the law, plus you're putting yourself at risk, even if you're altering it just for the sport of shooting an automatic firearm. It's dangerous.
Cops playing much?
I think there's a connection between him, sounds like, questioning authority during this incident and what his family's accused of doing on January 6th.
I have no idea about that. I do know he said he was sovereign and that he did not have
Buzzword, buzzword, buzzword.
to obey the law. Newsflash.
He doesn't want to obey unconstitutional laws that you want to enforce. Newsflash, you enforce unconstitutional laws. You've been doing it your whole career because you're a boomer who has, it's the law, thus it's a felony. I don't care if the Constitution says you have the right to keep and bear arms. We get to tell you how you can hold them, how you can have them, how you can alter them. They're not yours really until they're yours kind of, but you can't do things to your property.
You do. And
You don't follow the law. Either do your deputies. That is such a hypocritical statement by a sheriff. There's hundreds of videos of your deputies breaking the law. Shut up. You do not have the moral high ground. The only reason police have the moral high ground is because most Americans are dumb. If you go to this page and you Polk County Sheriff on Facebook and you read the comments on this, besides mine, it's bootlicker after bootlicker after bootlicker eating his putrid diarrhea coming out of his mouth, hook, line, and sinker. No critical thinking ability. No one on this page can look at what he's doing and see that a veteran with no criminal record just wants to take his car on the roads he paid for, and you think it's okay to ruin his life. You are not even a man, dude.
the sovereigns that don't pay attention to the law get to learn about it the hard
That's you.
way. Interestingly
You get to learn about it the hard way under our threat of our violence.
enough, even though he doesn't have to obey the law from the state troopers, he had a copy of the statute dealing with farm vehicles in his car. And he was using that as the evidence that this is a farm vehicle. No, it's not. It's a registered pickup truck without a tag, and you can't.
How can it be registered without a tag? Did he just say it was a pickup truck registered without a tag? If it's registered, it has a tag. Am I wrong?
Operate that on the roadway. Had he just capitulated to the stop, the trooper would have written him a citation.
If he would have just let us impede his freedom, steal a little bit of his money under threat, make him miss a day of work, possibly a day's pay, possibly a week's pay, everything would have been fine. But our victim, I mean, the sovereign, decided that he thought he was free and that we were going to enforce the Constitution and not unconstitutional nonsense with no victim and no damages and no trespassing.
In a way, he would have gone, more than likely. But the deeper they got into it and noticed the concealed firearms and his resistance, it elevated very quickly. We're fortunate.
You escalated it really quickly. He was traveling and keeping and bearing arms. What's more American than being free and having guns, Grady? You forget what country you live in? This is not North Korea, dude. This is not Israel.
That he did not aggressively try to hurt the trooper or any of
Because we would have had to delete him from life.
our deputies. And because he didn't, we didn't hurt him.
Chairman, do you believe that he may be in possession of other automatic firearms on his property or something?
automatic firearms.
And I mean, have you guys searched that or?
We have to limit the arrest to the immediate vicinity. We don't have any information or any reason at this point in time to execute a search warrant on his property. So we don't know what else he may or may not have. What we do know
I'm sure the feds are going to go in his house
is he picked up several felony criminal charges.
because of you. He wasn't bothering anybody. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't trespassing. He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't endanger anybody. He didn't damage any property. He didn't hurt anybody. So he picked up felonies because of you and your actions. Because all he was doing was living his life as a free American. If he got felonies for doing that, it's because you gave them to him. He didn't do anything to anyone to deserve any punishment at all.
What we know is he was not a felon before. He wasn't or he didn't have any criminal record before.
But you decided to ruin his life with a bunch of unconstitutional laws. Good job, Grady.
So he managed to go from ostensibly a law-abiding citizen
that you couldn't help but destroy his life. He was a law-abiding citizen. He was a law-abiding citizen the whole time. A veteran with no criminal record, all he wanted to do was be free to travel the roads he pays for. He was, is, and always has been a law-abiding citizen until you guys stepped in, until you guys caused a problem where there wasn't one, until you guys impeded a freedom of a veteran who hasn't done anything to anybody. You're the cause of this problem, Grady, not anybody else. He is a victim of you.
To picking up a lot of serious felony charges that he's now facing over simply not having a tag on his truck.
There you go. So we ruined his life, trying to lock him up in a cell, giving him extra time over a license plate. Thanks for admitting what an imbecile, a low IQ, inbred imbecile you are. Over a license plate, you did this to a veteran. You're disgusting, dude. I can't believe you think you have the moral high ground here. What world are you living in where you ruin a man's life for doing nothing to no one? This guy would have enforced slavery because it was a law, first of all. It was a law, first of all. Right, Grady? Oh, God, I hate this guy so much.
Now, come on, man.
Well, come on, man. Why don't you just capitulate and be a slave like everybody else? Everybody else pays every year. Everybody else has the king's tags on their private property. Who do you think you are? I know the founding fathers revolted over stamps and tags on their property, but where's the new America? We're blue coats now instead of red coats, you see? We do the same thing. We just change the color of our coat and our flag. Hey.
It doesn't take rocket science to figure out in the state of Florida when everybody else has got a tag on their car.
So that's called de facto law. It's widely accepted, but illegitimate. And this is the reasoning the cops planning is going to use. Just because everybody else doesn't understand that they're a free American who do not have to put plates on their car, if we all just decided to get rid of them, just because everybody else pays the slave fees because they don't want to be harassed by gunmen and they don't want their life to be ruined over a license plate, that nobody should step out of line. They should all go to the back of the bus. Everybody else in the back of the bus, you don't get to sit in the front either, Mr. I'm a veteran and I think I'm free to travel. Who do you think you are, veteran?
You got to have one too. And if you don't, then.
And by the way, Rogue tried to produce, I went to the DMV one time and they highlighted a bunch of stuff for me because I asked them where the law was that I had to have a tag on my car. And they highlighted a bunch of stuff. I have the paperwork buried here somewhere. And I started looking up the law. And this law says, according to section blah, 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 then you got to go to there. And then you got to go there. And then you got to go there. And then you got to jump around. It's all just, it's just like the Internal Revenue Code for federal income tax. You go in a circle and there's nothing there that says we have to have a plate on our car. Someone can please Post a link. I've never seen it. And they have one for commercial, and Rogue Nation went in and tried to get them to print out the law, and I think they called the cops instead.
And we're going to cite you and take the appropriate action.
So if you don't have the king's stamps on there, because every other slave does, we're going to impede your freedom. And if you don't comply, we're going to electrocute you, damage your property, lock you in a cage, lock your girl in the cage, because you, as a veteran with no criminal record, thought you had the right to travel the roads you pay for. Who do you think you are? Who do you think? You think you Americans think you could just travel around like free people?
And as a result, he chose to do it the hard way.
He chose. So again, this is your R-A-P-I-S-T mentality. He chose for you to aggressively assault him, electrocute him, impede his freedom, lock him in a cage, lock his girl in a cage. He chose that because he wanted to travel freely amongst the roads. He chose for you to ruin his life. In other words, understand this, people. If you don't do, if you did, the license plate and the driver's license is their main tool to fund their whole racketeering operation. So that's why they act like this when someone doesn't have a plate. It brings in millions, if not billions. And the license is there to ruin your life for child support, for points, for tickets, for everything. They use it for everything. So this is why they act like military Israeli thugs when someone doesn't have a license plate. That soldier, this veteran, is probably safer in the war theater than he is in Polk County, Florida.
We can do it the easy way, or we can do it the hard way.
Oh, is that not the R-A-P-I-S-T mentality? We could do this the easy way or the hard way. You could voluntarily date me, or I could force you to date me. You're sick, dude. Grow up. I can't believe you think you're an American doing this stuff to another American.
The state of Florida is determined you have to have a tag to operate your.
Who cares what they've determined? The Constitution says we're free people. You can't be free if you have to pay for permission to move around. How stupid does that sound? You sound like an idiot. If you want to make anything mandatory, you make driving class mandatory, a 6-month driving class, a 3-month driving class, and you have to pass a test. After that, it should be nothing.
Vehicle on public property. He ignored the law. He went to jail.
I'm sorry. Good.
He keeps justifying the license plate. You're so sick, dude. You got no remorse for ruining a man's life, a veteran with no record, over a license plate. You're sick. You're sick.
Indication on how he planned to use the weapons against law enforcement, because clearly he doesn't have any respect or doesn't, embrace the authority of law enforcement or at a school or any place else.
No, actually, he told the trooper, when the trooper said, "Why do you have these firearms?" He said, "Well, I have it to protect myself from law enforcement."
Oh my God. So the people who kill 3 Americans a day, law enforcement, and 20 dogs, from what I understand, a day, those are the good guys we do not need protection from. So if someone thinks they need protection from the good guys who kill 3 Americans a day, they must be sovereign.
So he had those firearms, according to him, to protect himself from law enforcement. He didn't.
That's what the Second Amendment is all about. Protecting yourself from the government. That's who you are, Grady. Again, he has this ego and this moral high ground that he's the good guys for some reason. What makes him believe he's the good guy? I don't get that. Where are you getting this self-entitlement? You do bad things, felonious things all the time to a lot of people. You do not have the moral high ground anymore.
Not pull the weapon out. He clearly showed his hands to us, but we find that all of that suspicious. If in fact he was an Army Ranger, my experience is that Army Rangers are top of the line people.
It sounds like he was a top of the line person. No criminal record, served as an Army Ranger. All he was doing was traveling without a license plate. Well, that's what, now that, because he didn't have a tag, now he went from being top of the line person in Grady Judd's mind to a felonious criminal over a license plate. Over a license plate, this guy is diminishing this guy's whole life and all his achievements.
And wonderful people and heroes.
So this guy sounds like a hero to me. I don't know what you're talking about, idiot. The most American patriotic thing you can do is be against your government. What country are we living in?
And all of a sudden he goes from Ranger, if that's accurate, to making a fully automatic weapon out of one that's not, to protect himself from law enforcement. What you see here is a guy that's got a screw loose.
Yeah, the guy on the left. You have the biggest screw loose. Everything you said is so upside down and backwards, it's disgusting. You ruined this man's life. You and your thugs ruined this man's life. He literally did nothing but travel the roads he paid for and went to the army and fought for. What you do on the roads is extort people, steal money, cage people. What he did was fight for us to be able to travel freely as free Americans. He's the hero. You have the screw loose.
But we tightened it up for him.
Oh, another brag. We ruined his life. Yeah, we tightened that screw of tyranny. We got him.
Does it concern you, Sheriff, considering his family's history with January 6th and all?
And the stupid prostitutes, January 6th. I wish one prostitute would say, Grady, other than just being a free American and traveling amongst the roads he paid for, what crime did he commit?
That he had this type of weapons.
Hey, Grady, who was the victim of his crime? I guarantee you they have select prostitutes that they will only allow in there too.
That he made those type of statements. I mean, does that draw even more concern to you?
Well, it just follows the sovereign thought process. And
when a cop says the sovereign word, it triggers me so bad because nobody is more sovereign than police, judges, and politicians. Nobody is more sovereign. No one.
And he already admitted that to us. But anyone,
it's illegal to be a sovereign. Americans are supposed to be the sovereigns. We fought a monarchy. The sovereign was the king. We took the monarchy down. Thus, he's not the sovereign anymore. The people are the sovereigns. That's actually how it's supposed to be, you moron. It's not we, the government, with all our guns and monopoly on violence. It's we, the people.
who has a firearm and displays it. Let me say that again. Anybody who has
can't even cop explain without
a
stuttering.
firearm, displays it, possesses it, and threatens that it's here to protect them.
He threatened self-defense. Again, talk about cosplaying. A threat is I'm going to do something to you, not I'm going to defend. If anyone says I'm going to defend myself and you think that's a threat, you're a stupid brainwashed pig. I'm going to defend myself. So if your deputies are shooting at him unlawfully, is he allowed to defend himself? When can the citizens defend themselves from your criminal thug, Grady? When are we allowed to defend ourselves? Or are we not allowed? That's their biggest fear in the world. They are such a paper tiger. They are literally this little speck right here. They are this little speck in between my fingers. And this is us. And we let them do this crap. There should be an uprising for what they did to this guy, honestly.
From law enforcement, that's the person we need to be concerned with. Now,
we need to be concerned with the guy who keeps and bears arms, believes he's a free American, who thinks he could travel on the roads that he paid for. That's a dangerous individual that we need to keep our eyes on. Right, Grady? Do you realize how stupid you sound?
Said that, we saw the polar opposite while we were there, in that he completely showed us his hands the whole time and never offered.
He didn't want to get murdered by you.
Any overt motions to grab the gun. So it's important to point out that he cooperated in the sense that he showed us.
It's important to point out that he was calm and showed his hands, even though he did nothing to nobody. And the people who escalated violence over a license plate was a bunch of armed thugs with costumes on. It's important to notice that.
His hands, but he wasn't getting out of the car.
So
He was not agreeing to the traffic stop.
why should he? Most traffic stops are unconstitutional. There's no victim. There's no plaintiff. There's no damage.
And I guess he thought at some point in time we go, okay, it seems like you know the law. Let us go, leave you alone.
He does know the law. You're enforcing unconstitutional statutes and garbage. The law is you're a free American as long as you're not hurting anybody, damaging any property, creating a victim, or trespassing or endangering the public. You're supposed to be a free American, Grady. You might want to study up on freedom. What you do and what you enforce is not freedom. It's not America. It's tyrannical garbage through the barrel of a gun. That's how you operate, like a thug.
That's not how it works. You know, so he
That's not how it works. If you don't have a license plate, we can kill you. What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
had to learn the hard way, but you know,
He had to learn the hard way. Again, that's the R-A-P-I-S-T mentality. He had to learn the hard way. He thought he was just a guy bothering no one and minding his own business until you guys showed up and taught him his lesson and escalated the violence and abducted him because he did what to who? What did he do to who? Who's the plaintiff, Grady?
there are many of us that are going to have different kinds of Christmas presents this year. His Christmas present from us is felony charges. Merry Christmas.
You are a piece of trash, bro. You ruined a veteran's life for traveling freely. This is probably donut operator's uncle right here.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, that's what you and your deputies are. Ho ho hos.
Can you give me a quick primer on automatic weapons? Did he make the Glock?
Automatic weapons again. January 6th, automatic weapons. Have you heard of any type of question critical to this idiot yet?
And the
It doesn't even seem like there's media in the room.
AK-47 into an automatic? Or is it
Both the
AK?
handgun and the rifle. And the rifle was cut, the barrel was cut off, so it was illegal because it was too short. So he had a short barrel rifle that he had transferred over to a fully automatic firearm. And the same thing with his
He wasn't keeping him bearing his arms the right way.
handgun. And we have some pictures of ammunition drums that were fully loaded that he had for those firearms.
He had weapons and the ammunition to use them. It's almost like they go together.
With him.
With his relatives connected to January 6th, we're hearing that his cousin is Jonathan Polk, who's still on the run. Do you think his arrest could maybe help you guys track him down or help federal authorities track him down?
I don't know whether or not Jonathan Pollock is his cousin or not. I mean, I don't know if he is. I'm not familiar with that.
I'll tell you on tomorrow's morning's briefing on Facebook.
So certainly when we took him into custody, he asked for an attorney. So he's not interested in talking to us. Yeah, he seemed to be
I mean, why? I can't believe he doesn't trust you guys.
well versed in the law in his mind.
In his mind, if you followed your oath, you'd be right in agreement with him. If you obeyed your oath to the Constitution, your belief and his belief would be congruent. Instead, you're enforcing unconstitutional laws and you're helping a bureaucracy ruin a man's life. And you turn them over to the feds. You're disgusting, dude. Bottom line, you didn't do anything. You didn't help anybody. All you did was ruin a veteran's life with a clean criminal record. Congratulations. And then you're bragging about it like an idiot.
But he asked for an attorney. So do I think it'll help? No, but at the end of the day, Pollock will surface. They will find him. And at that point in time, he'll be taken into federal
Canned Up Caveman says that Grady refuses to get dash cams or body cams.
custody.
Wonder why.
So the bottom line is he can have this looming over his head for however many years that he
Breaking the flaw. That's hilarious. Are you saying that because of my Facebook post? That is so funny, dude.
wants to. The charges aren't going away. And it would be much better for him to turn himself in, deal with it, man up, take responsibility, use his lawyer, go to court. If he didn't do anything wrong, he'll be found not guilty.
Oh, is that how the corrupt court system works? So no one's ever been falsely charged, falsely accused, had unconstitutional laws and sentences put upon them. Dude, what world does this idiot live in? I wonder how this guy has probably, he's been 20 years at least as a sheriff. I guarantee he's ruined tens of thousands of lives.
If he did, he needs to pay the price. He needs to man up and take.
And let's say the charges get dropped. Should all you guys pay the price? Should all you go into jail? Can we come and bust the back of your window open? Oh no, are you sovereign or something? Doesn't work that way. You must be sovereign.
Responsibility. Or he can run like he's doing now, and eventually some law enforcement someplace in the United States will come across him, and then we'll arrest him.
Dude, the people won't vote him out for some reason. The bootlicker, a lot of Polk County is Yankees. They come down from the north and they get the vote down here, and they're so pro police state because the police up in the north and Midwest and up in the Northeast, they're worse, if you can believe that, than this idiot.
Then he'll go through that process. So my statement to Mr. Polk is, you can keep running, you can keep hiding, but eventually you're just going to go to jail tired and stressed from having to worry about it, because you're going to go to jail over this.
How concerned are you with that family and their thought process? I mean, being in your county in North Lakeland, I mean,
Well, there's 750,000 people in the county, and there's 20+ million in the state of Florida. Every now and then you're going to run across somebody who presents to be dangerous.
How did he present to be dangerous? Because he didn't have a license plate? It's amazing. If you don't have a license plate on your car, you're considered dangerous. Isn't that amazing? How amazing is that? This is a good guy right here. Keep voting him in. I'm going to read some of the comments here and then.
This family, by and large, has not been violent toward us ever. We've had traffic stops on some of the families, given them traffic citations, but Samuel has chose to have this gun, and he wasn't dangerous or violent toward us.
Or anyone with no record. And he's a veteran. Sounds like a really good guy that you ruined his life. Good job, Grady.
He had the tools to be violent and dangerous, but he wasn't.
Everyone has the tools to be violent and dangerous. More cops planning.
Thank goodness. So at the end of the day, we take everyone serious that poses a threat.
Who did he threaten? What did he do? Not having a license plate does not equal dangerous. You're so ignorant, dude.
And our statement to Mr. Doolin here and to his family is behave, follow the law. That's this.
Make sure you have a license plate or we'll ruin your life. No license plate, no life.
Law is created to protect all of us, to protect the.
That is not true. The law is not created to protect all of us. People have biases. They vote certain ways. They buy in candidates. Not every law is objective and just. You are just an imbecile. I can't take the ignorance of this sheriff right here. Everything he says is BS.
Doolins, the Pollocks, and everybody else in the United States. And you have two choices. You can be on the right side of the law, or you can be on the wrong side of the law.
Again, another hypocritical statement. They have violated the Constitution hundreds of times on video that I know of. Why are you on the wrong side of the law? Let me see if I read some of these comments here. No, we don't want that. We don't want that either. What do we want? We want this. The first comment is, let's see. He went from peaceful veteran traveling on the roads he paid for with no criminal record to a victim of oath-violating cowards who enforce unconstitutional laws rather than honor their oath. They violated his Second, Fourth, Fifth, and Eighth Amendment rights. See more. Okay. Grady is a lifelong oath-violating criminal. All right, I'm closing that page. So go to Facebook, Polk County Sheriff, and leave a message. I'll try to read some of these comments. Hi, everybody. Hi. Wow, where'd they all go? Oh, they're there. Geo. Love your talking and your thanks, Ying Ying. Probably part of the sex trafficking network that stretches from the Ohio Valley to the Pasco County. I don't know anything about that. Oh my God, no tags calling the military, right? Claudette, how crazy is that? John Eagle was up. Carl Murphy was up. If you are gay, you are free in America. Okay, I better be gay then. I'm good. Request a lawful order. Submit and obey. That's it. Yep. Comply or die, says Grady Judd. Comply or die. Comply or we break your window. Comply or we electrocute you. If you still don't comply, what are they going to do next? Start beating them? And if he still doesn't comply, what? Kill him? So that tells you right there and then. Cops are willing to kill you if you resist a license plate traffic stop. That's the bottom line in America. If you resist a traffic stop where you did nothing to no one, you didn't damage anything, you didn't do anything to anybody, and you resist that traffic stop, cops are willing to kill you to keep you there and stop you from resisting over a traffic stop. That's where our country has gone, to where there's so many nitpicky laws that the government can just shred your freedoms to pieces. Guys, please go to this Facebook page, this Polk County Sheriff, in this video, and just let them know what you think, man. Surprised they didn't take my comments down. All right, man. I'm thirsty. I'm sweaty. I took a 15-minute video and made it an hour somehow. I can't read any comments right now. Thank you all for coming. Please consider joining for 99 cents a month. This live's probably going to go private or members only after this. So thanks for watching. Peace, tranquility. See you later.